Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the big one. Cloud9 versus CLG, a battle for survival. We've waved goodbye to two teams, and now Counter Logic Gaming, pretty in pink still, but versus Cloud9. Both teams well and truly aware of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we're here live from a very loud Austin, Texas, where they have been consistently making plenty of supportive sounds for their favorites. And of course, there's been plenty of signing sessions already done and dusted. I'm Alex Machine Richardson, Miss Harvey joining me, as well as Jason Moses O'Toole and Blue. Don't know why you got your full name, just fancied it.
I liked it.
I like your jacket. Is it new?
Yeah, it's a little experiment of the waistcoat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wear waistcoats, whether they're ugly, I don't know what you're doing. Oh dear. Anyway, gents, this is going to be an interesting one. This is always an interesting discussion when you encounter teams that play each other, I would assume, an awful lot. Do correct me if I'm wrong, Steph. I feel like these teams are going to be consistently scrimming.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, so with that said, like, this is where you get this interesting matchup where you've got Cloud9, who at one point were regarded as one of the best, if not the best team in North America when they had their little high period. CLG recently, I mean, Duncan for some reason puts them in his top 10, and people still consistently think
Careful,
they're
Alex.
battling for some reason.
Careful, Alex.
He's tried to justify it in Malmo. It's
No,
something about results.
We got him about that on the desk.
Yeah. But and I mean, alongside that, you know, we've seen CLG recently, you know, being regarded as one of the best, competing versus the Europeans. I think a Cloud9 member must have walked on stage.
Yeah, Jordan keeps walking back and forth, and
I think
people
he's playing the crowd.
I mean, it's crazy about it is that Cloud9 always, I mean, even in the States, like, they always have the biggest fan base here. Like, they're always the home team, essentially. Yeah. It's got to be weird when you're CLG or Team Liquid going up against them in front of a crowd in the States, just having to deal with that.
I mean, yeah, that's certainly a factor, but I do want to just kind of talk a little bit about where the balance lies. Like, at this point in time, actually, I'm not just going to talk to this CLG band-wearing person first. Let's go to you, Blue. Where does the balance lie currently? Where is the hardest hitter in North America on the stage?
At the moment, I would have to say, judging from current results, it actually may end up being C9 in the current state and form.
Current result, 1 game.
He finds a way to get it anyways.
Here's the thing. C9 has had a lot of individual improvements as of late. We can talk about Skadoodle, who's been stepping up his own hours, and that's been showing in a lot of online matches. Nothing's been coming back into shape now that they have Slummy on this roster. Shroud really never went out of shape, and this is only being highlighted even more now because of the fact that his other teammates are coming back. Whereas CLG, they still have a very big inconsistency issue, and that's what's bringing them down another level for me at the moment, and what's bringing C9 above them at this current point in time.
Same kind of sentiments from you, Jason?
No,
before we talk to CLG?
I mean, this is going to seem like a cop-out, but it's almost not even worth talking about because they're all inconsistent. Even Liquid. I mean, even if you want to throw Liquid into the mix, like, which one of these three teams has ever like shown that they can actually stay at the top of the North American scene? You know, all right, there you go, Jordan. Little flashbang dance. Number one in our hearts. But yeah, no, there's so many issues with. I mean, it's so weird because leading up to the major, Cloud9 was clearly the best performing team in just isolated in the North American region. When you look at CLG, Liquid, and obviously Cloud9 gets just bombs out of the major, and then you had Liquid and CLG who go on to play each other in the quarterfinals, get out of the groups. So I mean, it's just so hard to tell at times, especially because with some of these roster changes, especially with Cloud9, like, you just don't know. They're going to have these ups and downs as they're trying to figure things out. So it is very difficult to kind of read and judge if they're actually better or if they're just having a better day at that moment. They haven't consistently shown anything over any period of time.
Understand, and then for the kind of the CLG discussion where they do seem increasingly inconsistent, where will we find the CLG evolve? The CLG we saw, I mean, the JDM we saw not too long ago in this tournament alone, it does just seem so random, and I feel like we're going to be asking a lot of the same questions on the desk here, where it's just a case of, can someone please in North America that isn't a Brazilian find some consistency? And I don't know where we're going to find it, Steph.
Yeah, it's really hard right now. At the moment, CLG wins games with at least 2 or 3 players are playing well on the team. If there's only one, if Tarek carries, it's not going to work. We need some Cutler, we need some Ace to step it up, and then maybe we're going to have a better chance at finding the C9 that we saw last day, like yesterday, because last day was pretty solid. They were pretty on point, and they were able to explode at the right moment and stay calm at the right moment. And today we need CLG to do the same, stay calm at the right moment and explode when needed with multiple kills coming from them.
Now, this may be a sensitive subject, but it was just on screen there, and someone that I can't help but feel everyone expects more from him, he hasn't been delivering, is Fugly. Can we breach that subject and kind of explore that a little further? The newer face on CLG, they made that change, and I do just want to kind of explore what we've seen from him recently, because it hasn't been as exciting as people anticipated.
I mean, he's never that explosive style of player where he's going to put up, the big highlight frags. He's always been that kind of more. He's very similar to Cutler in the sense that they play like more just like fundamentally strong. They play positions where they don't have to do anything flashy. They don't have to do anything crazy. He's going to have good rounds. He's going to have good games, but you're not always going to notice it. I think the biggest thing with Fugly is that it's weird seeing him on this team, not necessarily in-game, but outside of game. He's very much different in terms of his personality with the rest of the team. And I don't think that necessarily causes issues, but it can be a little bit weird. He is a guy who's a little bit more quiet while the rest of that team is very, very outgoing.
Maybe him and Scar should hang out, just kind of the silent but deadly players.
I also think he's trying to find his place within the team. He just changed roles to coming back as a lurker, and we know on Liquid he was doing pretty well before Hiko took his spot as a lurker as well. So maybe in the couple of next weeks / month, we're going to see Fugly maybe shine a little bit more again. He was pretty uncomfortable in the last couple of weeks. So now here's his time to shine. He's back at lurking.
On the topic of silent but deadly, on the topic of Skadoodle, I want to know what the crowd is cheering for. I'm pretty sure it's just as soon as Nothing raises his hand, he's got like them on a string at this point. He's the puppet master of Austin. But yeah, I wanted to just talk a little bit about this silent presence, because I know it's weird to talk about recent form. We've seen one game of him, but Skadoodle, you guys are getting a little bit hyped back again. Everyone's talking about his hours. This guy was contending for a top AWP spot in the world, right?
I think
a long time
last
ago.
summer, of course, was the big run for C9, and I think he wants to get back into that shape he was now, where some people were calling him like the best opera in the world at some point during that summer.
Kind of crazy to think, yeah.
Yeah, and then what happened to him over the winter, that completely fell off. When he just went off the map, we weren't really seeing anything of him all that much in C9's online matches and even on their LAN matches. But now, coming back into summer this year, it looks like he wants to get some of that back. And he wants to get back into that top form shape that he was in just over a year ago now.
Yeah, but he's had an atrocious start to this year. It's actually really, really bad. He's had a terrible 2016 so far. And it's just a little bit of a bummer, because it's one of the biggest falls from where he was last year towards where he is now. And he's got to do better. He does have to. And that's kind of the thing. It does come down to the hours, but on top of that, we talk about his increased hours, but he had, 5 or 6 frags against Luminosity last night? Yeah. I mean, that's not good enough.
And I mean, he's just maybe encountering just a couple of individuals that just seem to have his number.
I mean, the part of it too is that it also comes down to, you talk about how he's silent, stoic, he's not a very vocal person. That doesn't mean he doesn't communicate, but he's also not assertive in the sense. He's one of the very few oppers that never seems to want to take over the game. If the game comes to him, he's able to be dominant, but he doesn't ever chase out the fact that he can just control the map with that AWP. Very much, Dust 2 is the best highlight for it. Very stationary on the op on the CT side. Doesn't really throw a lot of different looks at people. And I think that's very easy for teams to read into. And everyone, especially in North America, when they practice against it, they know where he's going to be. And I think that's really, really hindering him as well.
And we'll be talking about this matchup actually with him and JDM after an interview on the stage. We've got Tarek and Nothing, who I'm sure are going to be well received as we dive into this interview.
Speaking of well-received, I want to try something with you guys in the audience. You guys have been cheering so much for both of these teams, but it's time to find out which of these players and teams will get the latter reception. So first, if you're cheering for Tarek and CLG, give it up. Okay. Oh my God. This is a little cheap. This is cheap. That's cheating. All right, let's do this properly, Jordan. With the shirt on. If you're cheering for Jordan and Cloud9, make some noise. All right, well, let's get the clothes on stage. You can reserve the stripping for after the match. But anyway, let's head right into this pre-match interview. First, I'll talk to you, Tarek. Obviously, you guys, besides the online results, you've shown what you can do, especially at Malmo. You had a really dominant victory over G2, even against Navi, the #1 team in the world. It was a close loss. It went into overtime. But here, this is where you guys really need to step it up. This is a tournament where people are looking at you guys. Really, this is where you want to show that you guys really are one of the top NA teams, if not the #1 team. So headed into this match with C9 with everything on the line, what do you have to say to Jordan?
What do I have to say to Jordan? I want to have a fun game, I want to have it close. I'm hoping for like some 16-14, some knife kills. offline, we're obviously known to play better. We had a rough start this tournament, but we're trying to patch things up. I think we play better in BO3s, definitely. We're more comfortable in BO3s. BO1s are a little rough for us, but I just want to play a fun game. It's awesome to play on American soil. Crowd here is awesome. Definitely want more American events, so yeah.
What are we talking about?
All right, Jordan, for you, prior to this match, I want to ask you, so obviously up until the major, you guys were looking really good. Then there was that disappointing performance there. Since then, this is the first line where we're seeing you guys since then and with Slemmy. It's a lot on the line. Obviously, you guys have a lot of fans that have been cheering relentlessly all week. What are your words to Tarek prior to this match?
Well, first of all, thank you guys. Love you all. Second of all,
Always the fan service.
Second of all, a lot of respect to CLG. We've played them a lot of close games in the past, so we're just looking to have a good game. 2 North American teams. Someone needs to be in the finals here, right, guys? Jeez. So, yeah, looking to come out hard. Like you said, BO3 is a different beast, so we're going to come out strong and stay humble. These guys got a lot of firepower, so got to have a good match now.
All right, sounds good. I'm really excited for this, class. You guys can shake hands, hug, whatever you want, and get back to your seats. Oh, you guys are gonna go for the kiss? Oh, I'm sure the audience would have loved to see that. But guys, it is time to get started. This match is happening. One of these teams will move on and keep their tournament live in at DreamHack Zowie Open Austin. Machine, back to you.
Did I just see a hazed sign?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just saw a full-on.
There's
You found the one. It's like a Where's Waldo game.
No, dude, we're talking like people eat a letter each.
There's like a 5-man.
There's at
really?
least there's a 5-man squad out
A couple
there.
of his
Waldos.
friends from Texas, actually, they drove here.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, there you go. And that's he's probably surrounded by Cloud9 tank tops, but they're hopefully going to be able to make things work. Right, let's move into the map pool, because that's going to be a huge part of best of 3. CLG already, you heard from Tarek himself. They feel like they do better in best of 3, perhaps, due to this inconsistency label we've given them. 3 maps, a little bit of a backup is probably good. But let's talk maps. I know I can see you've got a lot of percentages in front of you, but I will start with Jason. Just to kind of break the ice, right? North America, it seems that often we criticize them for having a shallow map pool, and again, goodbye overpass.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is actually a good thing because this is already an adjustment from yesterday. What we saw from C9 is that they were banning out their own weaknesses. They weren't necessarily banning out luminosity strengths. Immediately, they're going to be banning out overpass, which is a map that CLG has done really well on in the past, especially at international showings.
It's also essentially a free ban for C9 because they also like to ban Inferno and CLG. They both have that same ban. It's both the map neither of them want to play. So the fact that they just ban Overpass because CLG goes second, they're just saying, all right, if you want to leave it in, see if you have the balls for it. And obviously they called a bluff, and it's gives C9 an extra ban.
And it's interesting to see which map C9 was going to pick. I was really, really curious if they were going to battle Mirage versus CLG, which is, as we know, a really good map for them because C9 practiced a lot. Cash is actually pretty inconsistent for both team, I would say. And both team kind of struggle on it. So it's going to be a good match, I think. And if CLG did, Mirage, interesting. I thought CLG was going to pick maybe Dust2, actually.
Well, they didn't make the mistake that they did yesterday, which was when Mirage and Cobble were both open. They went with Cobble and got just annihilated. So they go to Mirage this time. They go to their own strength. And now the randomizer for that third map.
If it's Train, I think it's going to favor probably C9 because CLG struggled on Train this morning. And if it's Dust2, I think it's going to favor CLG for a third map. Let's see.
And if it's Cobble, that would just be a nice awkward little rematch, wouldn't it?
If it's Cobble and Dust2.
So as you said, you believe that favors CLG.
Yeah, if we go to map 3, I think it favors CLG. CLG is really confident on that map at the moment. They've been playing great. They love playing Dust2. All the players love playing Dust2. Yeah, so I think it would favor them. I'm
starting to get the vibe that CLG have got the better of this veto. 2 maps perhaps to 1. Mirage, and you're nodding, Blue. You feel like that's kind of makes sense?
To a certain degree, yeah. Dust2, of course, is a favorite map for CLG to play on. They've had some good results on it in the past. Cloud9 in the recent months has been somewhat hit or miss on that map, just in terms of the individual performances there. CT side specifically has been somewhat weak. So that's a map where I think they get sealed away. First map though, with it being played on Cash, which is it's like C9's home map, I would definitely think they'd still be able to take control of that one though. So it's going to be a very close set.
And I mean, just wrap into that your prediction. I'd like to know I think the 3 maps.
Very extremely close, but if I have to actually pick one team absolutely, I would say C9 2-1.
Okay, going for Cloud9. Jason, you going to conform?
That's quite the leading question, Alex.
I like to do
I'm
that.
actually going to take Cloud9 2-0.
Okay, so actually, you have faith in Cloud9 on Mirage. Can you maybe quickly touch on that?
Yeah, I think they're going to be good enough on it to beat CLG. I think there's a lot of struggles in CLG right now, and I think Cloud9 can take advantage of that. I think the only hope for CLG to win this series is if they have the JDM that we saw in Dust 2 earlier today. He's the hardest carry they have, and they're going to need him. He
was huge in Dust 2, a very influential player. And finally, you, Stephanie. What am I doing? What am I doing?
I can't not pick CLG here.
You can.
They'd kick you out.
This is it. We're going to give you a pass.
Yeah.
This is a mistake.
On paper,
go with the heart or the brain.
You take the bands off now.
Take the bands off. Throw them in the crowd. Now, on paper right now, I think CLG takes this BO3. With the performance yesterday, as I understand your pick, but I'm sticking with CLG.
So she went with the heart.
She went with the heart. You fall into that trap as well, Jason.
I know, that's why I gave her a chance. I gave her a chance to go back on it.
You go with the heart, you go with the brain, and this time she's going...
We'll see later.
Okay, yeah, you wait. She's going to be super smug if this goes CLG 2-0.
It's going to be really awkward.
It is, indeed. But, yeah, we have to, of course, remember a 16-1. These teams met already here in Austin, and it was 16-1 in favor of the boys from Cloud9. See if they can replicate that. We will see. It's time for a best-of-3 environment, though, for these two teams, and they are absolutely ready. Before we do dive into this one, I have no idea what the score is going to be. Truly, I have no idea what it could be, but if you want to know what the actual application is for this thing you can grab on your phone, please do. I've lost the plot. Truly, I've lost the plot, but grab it. It gives you your scores, news, and stats. You can grab it on iOS App Store and on Google Play. Now the hype is ready. Are you ready, crowd? Are you guys ready for some North American CS? They most definitely are, and so are we. Your casters are ready. Let's jump into it. It's time for CLG C9.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to the DreamHack Zowie Open, live from Austin. We're going into one of our final matchups here from the group stage. It's going to be Cloud9 versus CLG, and our first map should be getting started in just a few moments.
Yeah, this is going to be it could be a very, this is the thing, that they have to kind of wipe out what happened yesterday at CLG, and they know that, and they know going into this that they need to be able to move past that 16-1, and those are very easy defeats to get by when your team is having some success, when you're not in this slump. What we've talked about a number of times on this desk throughout this event for CLG is that they are kind of in a weird mental state right now. They have been in a slump recently, and these kinds of things, those kinds of losses do tend to stick around a little bit more when you're not finding success, across a longer period of time. So it's a little bit dangerous for CLG.
The one thing we didn't really get to talk about too much on the desk, though, was going to be the big op battle that we'll be seeing here, and that's Skadoodle versus JDM. JDM comes in tip-top shape off of that last map that we saw them play against Splice. But at the same time, Skadoodle coming into this one, fairly weak performance against Luminosity yesterday. Now with these two facing each other once more, who do you think is going to take the edge here?
I gotta, I had harsh words for Skadoodle. Maybe went a little bit too hard earlier when I said he was having an atrocious 2016. It's been a very weak 2016, but he has been improving. And I think just overall, like last year, you look at the level he was at, I think he has a higher ceiling than JDM. He's just not showing it at the moment. But JDM equally has been very inconsistent lately. So I entirely see not just Skadoodle necessarily winning based off how he plays, but I think his teammates around him are going to be much, much more impactful in this game, that it's going to allow Skadoodle some better opportunities to get into it.
And this first map that we're going to be going on to being Cash, C9's home map. They love to play on this every chance they get it, especially in North American matchups too. Obviously showing a lot of strength on it as well. So is there going to be any weaknesses that CLG will be able to puncture through here to be able to take the edge over them on their home map?
Yeah, I think CLG, let's talk about just the big weakness is that, we're still unsure. We're still not very, not really knowing what we're going to see out of their T sides. It's still very new leadership in this year. Kanji's been on and off in terms of coaching due to some other commitments. They just bring in Slemmy, who's the new in-game leader. So we're still, there is some disorganization on these T sides. If they run into a problem, they're going to have trouble adjusting to it. They're not going to have this deep playbook that they can go back to, or this reliable in-game leader with experience that it can go on the fly. So they're going to have some strong CT sides here against CLG.
And we've already seen that in the past too, specifically when they played against, I think it was Energy a couple of days ago in the ECS League, that it was a very default play T-side, just almost sitting back, the same exact strategy employed in essentially every single round, with a couple of variances thrown in here or there, just basically sitting back, going for the split, trying to make some picks early on, and then if that ends up if they don't find any frags that, they can just go into a default A hit, they're on an eco, go for a quick B hit. It almost seemed like it was that same exact strat every time, so very limited on the playbook right now from C9's T-side, and that could definitely hurt quite a bit if they could get a read on it early on here.
Yeah, so it is going to also come down to, these ops can have a huge impact, even the double op setups, but you look at how it happened yesterday, it wasn't any one player, it was Shroud was destroying everyone he saw, Nothing destroying everyone he saw. Stewie had a good game as well. There's a lot of members on the C9 side that are going to be entering this with confidence. 3 players for CLG towards the B bomb site, but they're not going to continue to push. They're going to boost Tarek up into vents. And now they're going to push beyond that. So if they actually keep going and they're not spotted out and they're not slowed down, they could have a pretty nice pinch. One player, I believe that Skadoodle gets spotted out, or Slemmy. So now there's some good angles that CLG can try and find a lucky kill, but with this pressure, I mean, it's all towards the A bomb site for Cloud9. Starting to get aggressive out mid. Stewie's going to be jumping, trying to bait out some shots. He's doing it perfectly now at an advantage. He goes for the peek, but he doesn't commit initially. That's a mistake. JDM finds that kill. Nothing lurking out A main. He also, the timing is not with him.
So now JDM trying to hold himself off here, but the Cloud9 hit, getting ready to push itself over here to the A bomb site. Smoke's employed outside of A main to block off JDM's angle. So he's not going to be able to spot all that much, and at the same time of all of this, Shroud is holding a great angle back in the middle to try and line up a flank against the retake coming in from highway. There's nothing. Roundabout outside from the hiding spot behind the forklift just decks JDM down to the floor. Even things back out to a 4-on-4, but CLG, they need to start this retake, and they're moving in. Tarek's going to strike first, finding that kill into nothing. Bring this into a 3-on-4, but now the flank comes in from Shroud, but he's not finding anything. Tarek, Hayes, and Cutler find the final kills, and they're going to take control of the pistol round.
Yeah, there's a good start for CLG. A sick retake, but it's all given up by nothing. He gets that stellar kill, but he gives up that positioning over at forklift. It's such an important position to hold as the terrorist team. It denies so many avenues for that retake, so a small mistake there. Gets that one kill and falls into A main, and that lets CLG have so many different ways they can retake that bomb site.
So the advantage there was looking good for C9 when they get themselves out into the site, but the retake pressure coming in, and unfortunately Shroud just failing utterly on that flank, which could have been a huge factor to shut down the entire retake in itself, just not going to be able to connect those shots. And with that said, CLG take the early advantage, wasting no time getting rifles into their hands here too. 4 rifles already up on the board. Fugly's the only one that's going to try and mess around with an SMG. But the other guys on C9 though, just the usual upgrade, P250s and a little bit of utility to try and force the plan on this round by overwhelming that A bomb site.
Yeah, CLG going for the rifles early because they know with that plant there could be a 3rd round buy from Cloud9. This investment might hinder that a little bit, so another plant here for C9 would be excellent. Looks like they're going to line up for an A hit. Smokes are out. Here comes the execution, and yep, all of Cloud9 is going to stream through A main. One member in the door, one member is going to come out mid-late, more than likely on a lurk, but these 3 players, they've got to find some kind of success. There's 4 players for CLG here, and massive nade damage comes out.
Cutler's going to be first on point in the fight here, but he doesn't even spot these players pushing through. They are trying to hold the site, but they're not going to stop the plant from happening. Fugly and Cutler will find the first 2 kills. Fugly finding a 3rd for himself and a 4th, shutting it all down. And now the final player left alive is going to be nothing, but he too dispatched very quickly by CLG. Unfortunately though, the overall arching plan for C9 here in this round was to get the bomb down, and they succeeded in doing that.
Yeah, that's huge for them. And that helps alleviate some of the pressure. If they want to buy into the next round, they had those P250s, they had all those nades. It's actually a pretty big investment into that round to get that plant, and it's very important that they got it. And we are more than likely going to see the buy come out here. Some nice shots from Fugly, though. Nice play with the MP7, getting some of that bonus money. 3 kills for him, so 2-0, and there it is. The AWP is out in Skadoodle as well. That's a pretty early AWP. That could actually catch CLG off guard. It is a glass cannon. There's no armor behind it as well, so he's got to be a little bit careful about some of the fights he takes and how long he spends in choke points. But at least initially, he's just going to be watching for any kind of aggression towards the B bomb site. CLG pushing up mid. Looks like they want to get aggressive. They want to set the tone early with a reverse boost.
And in the meantime, though, C9 holding that default that we were talking about before we get into this game. The aggressive push coming in from Tarek, but that aim is shaky at best. So Slemmy holds his own position by grabbing the first kill of this round, taking down Tarek. And now CLG not even going to try to split the defenses 2-2-wise. They're just going to commit themselves to the A site, getting ready for a hit in this direction. And they'll keep Hayes positioned inside of checkers on B in the event it would push over to that bomb site.
Yeah, still a lot of time for C9 to play with. So CLG, I mean, they don't want to split it up quite yet. Right now they're keeping players over at A, and this allows them to get aggressive towards A main. This is actually a good play from CLG to grab control. So Fugly knows what's coming, has the intel. Can at least have an early call if Cloud9 starts working that way, but instead it's going to be out mid. Stewie, like we know he loves to do, playing around with that smoke, he's going to get out mid. And with this position, does he decide to remain aggressive? He has no teammates with him, so this should turn into a little bit of a lurk roll or a coordinated peek up highway.
And Fugly as well, going to strike back. He spots him, but I believe they've spotted him too. Nonetheless, he's got the molly in hand, is going to pop that up. Cutler peeking. It's going to be Fugly, though, that finds the first kill, shutting down Slemmy. The rest of C9, in the meantime, still held back outside of A main, but Stewie has managed to navigate his way all the way up highway and is currently posted behind the shed. He could have big impact, but the rest of his team needs to strike first so he can surprise.
Yeah, he needs to be patient at the moment. If that one player at A main falls, it's going to give him opportunity, but Fugly remains, and Skadoodle, this is the thing, no armor, he doesn't want to take that fight. There is Stewie chiming in. Skadoodle falls. Stewie can't land that kill. He's got one behind him he's got to worry about. Nothing gets that there. Stewie, nice composure. Critical kill, but there's only 8 seconds left on the clock. The bomb is so far away, and they're actually not going to get this plant. This is going to be a win for CLG by time. A massive mistake for C9 there.
He's just camping out the B bomb site. Didn't even have to do anything in this round. So CLG, they delay it long enough, and that mainly comes off of Fugly too, holding himself inside of A main for so long, posting back on the hit there, and despite the success of Stewie pushing himself in through Highway, they're not able to get that bomb onto the site in time. And it will be another round going into the hands of CLG as they pick up the first gun round.
A little bit unfortunate. Those are the kind of plays that we talked about. Fugly, he's not always going to make the flashy plays that you'll see in the highlight videos that are just going to be awe-inspiring, but that's a very solid play, just holding A main, keeping control of that portion of the map. The Molotov slows him down massively as well for his teammate to come help out. Just an all-around good recovery for CLG.
At a quarter of Slummy's health, going to get chopped off here at the beginning of the round. Do a nice nade that's tossed over and preventing the boost maneuver here too. C9 having to scrape together a bit of a buy, as we can already see. The op still comes in on Skadoodle and an AK on the Stewie. But Slummy, Shroud, and Nothing all gonna have to downgrade to pistols here to try and work on the force in this round. They do not want to allow CLG to get away with an early lead here, but they're not gonna be doing a great job of stopping it now as JDM takes down Stewie at the beginning of this one. And the rest of C9 still posted back, playing their very, very slow strats that we've sort of come to expect now with this new roster.
The op at Skadoodle is the best chance for Cloud9 here to get an opening kill. Shroud is just holding this player at forklift. He hears this jumping as well, so that can be information that's communicated. Can't land the headshot with the deagle. And Hayes, he feels no pressure over at the B bomb site. This is going to be a free kill. Again, Nothing is just found. He had one of the AK-47s. Skadoodle sees Nothing. He's had this position for quite some time. Now he's been spotted out. That's a nice recovery. Got one more. Can't land that shot. Nicely done from Fugly. 2 kills for him, and he's going to get another one on top of it.
Slummy now the last one. He'll be able to escape with the plant at the very least, but he's pretty quickly going to be overwhelmed here. Finds the first one, looking for the second, but a nade pushes him backline. Big Red has to peek out, trying to find at least one more kill, but it's not going to be possible. Tarek picks up the final frag, and CLG find a fourth, but C9 do get the plant. Again, that could, in theory, allow them to go for another force here if they wanted to.
Well, yeah, as the losing bonus builds up as well, they could even just go for a half buy, and they'll have the full losing bonus in the next round, and plenty of money in the bank for whatever they want. Either way, CLG with a good start here. There's been some tough situations for him, but actually even Cloud9 in that round with a force buy there, I mean, there's that sign. All 5 of them.
Told you it was a 5-man haze.
Yeah, it's good.
It was an intense sign.
I like it.
A lot of effort.
It's red, white, and blue as well.
Find the American colors. But as we get back into things here now, we are going to see that force up coming in from Cloud9. It's honestly not even really a force up. It's basically just a buy here. Downgrading Shroud to a Tech 9 and Nothing to a Galil. But beyond that, full AKs, decent amount of utility, and they're going to be very quick with mid control, but that's not going to stop JDM. Pushes right out there with an impending smoke about to explode in his face, shuts down Skadoodle, and again, that'll just immediately slow C9. This is almost becoming that issue we saw with Luminosity yesterday too, where when they lose a player early on, they slow down to a huge degree and never even give themselves an opportunity to trade it out.
Shroud now boosted up, and there's the double op setup. This is a defense that Cloud9 struggled to overcome against Luminosity last night. They could be having just flashbacks right now to just getting mauled by ops everywhere they went. And this is the thing, it also eats up these force buys. As you get later into the round, there's less utility to use for the C9 team, and they don't have many things that can block off these ops, and it's just kind of easy picking as they take duels. So now in a 3-on-5, where do you go from here? 1 member in mid, 2 over towards the B bomb, so you have very little control, and you have no clear-cut advantages anywhere on the map. The bomb is also dropped far away again, so they've got to be careful.
Hayes gonna push right out. Flashbang looked like he had a good connection, but not gonna be enough to stop Nothing from picking up a kill, and now they're gonna push themselves in. Smoke connects itself into CT main here, but Tarek as a carry just gonna push right through. Gets himself in a headshot glitch, trying to fall back a little bit as well, but now Cutler coming in on the flank. Tarek pushes to the distraction, and now Cutler can just go off, pushing in underneath Heaven. Nothing, good recovery from him, but unfortunately he's alone with only 12 HP. So Fugly shutting down Slummy, and finally the last player that's alive from C9. Nothing goes down too, as CLG continue to dominate things here in the opening rounds of Cash.
Yeah, Cloud9, if they were able to get that kill onto Tarek a little bit quicker, it might have been a little bit better, but the fact that he survives for so long allows those flanks to come in through mid. It's a really, really good defense we're seeing out of CLG so far. The double op setup was effective. The mobility, the quick rotations as well. And here's that kind of half investment for C9. They say, all right, we need everything. We need an op on Skadoodle. We need everyone to have full utility. So with this losing bonus, we're going to maybe concede around here, see if we can get lucky with pistols. Very little armor. There's 3 members with half armor. but they're just going to let that losing bonus build up so the next round, the next buy they have is strong.
And so now, continuing to play things slowly, but definitely leaning towards the B hit as they slowly shift their players over to the hall. CLG, though, able to delay a lot of their utility, and specifically JDM is going to be first responder here to peek himself back out, watching for the thunder and push. Looking for Skadoodle right now, but not going to be able to spot him just as of yet. Still in a safe position. The rest of C9, though, they're getting ready to push back in as they hold things back. Mollies start to go up, and Vents will try to deny that. JDM getting a little bit skittish here as he falls back further inside of Checkers. The timing shot, not going to connect, still off the mark a little bit, but now he's getting ballsy again, peeking back up. Connects a leg shot into Slemmy, bringing him down to 15, but there's a shot. Shroud, though, quick to trade that out with the Hwandig moving in, shutting down JDM. The rest of the team, though, C9, still going for a very slow push. They've gotten themselves in Checkers. They have control of this area, but they're not on the site as of yet. And now everybody from CLG is here, so you may not even be able to make this take at this point.
Stewie's going to have to make a huge play here. There's about 35 seconds left on the clock. He's waiting for anything, and he hears these footsteps, and is he going to come in? Yeah, he's picking his timing wisely, and actually they don't realize it. There is one player up at truck, but he's not going to see this either. Stewie's got to make a play, telling his team to wait, but they turn around, they spot it out. That's unfortunate. Shroud now with the deagle has got to do something, but it's Hayes in the back of the site and Fugly with the assistance. 6-0 now, CLG making a statement early on.
After a decent start there from C9, it's just an absolute mop up there. They slow up, they never take site control. They give CLG the time that's necessary to rotate over, and they freeze up. They never actually attempt to take the site. So when they finally go for it there, and when Stewie tries to execute onto his flank, he's not going to be able to shut it down. And that will be another one going up onto the board this time around for CLG on Cloud9's home map as well. The double op setup still coming, and we already saw how strong this was in the earlier matchup against Splice on Dust 2. They absolutely dominated the CT half, and they're doing it once more here. Back on cash now, but C9 also able to get their full buy going. That's not going to stop CLG from getting aggressive, however. Fugly going for the counter boost once more, looking for the first kill, but he does give himself away a little bit early, so he does have to call it off.
And this is where you might see a little bit of what I was talking about with Skadoodle, a little bit of unwillingness to take over games. Being very passive with this AWP at the moment, just watching for any pushes. Cloud9 still just spread across the map, a default, not picking anywhere to go, not probing, not applying pressure. That's the one big thing as well. When you apply pressure, you could force some mistakes out of CLG, you can gain map control. But this sitting back, it hasn't been effective so far, and it's kind of turning this into a real struggle for them as the clock winds down. They have nowhere to really go because they haven't actually tried to gain control of anything.
And that's the unfortunate part about this newer C9 now, is that, you know, Cash used to be a great map for them, but now with the new roster they're working with, they don't really have a whole lot of complexities to bring into the table as far as their T-side is concerned on this map. It's very basic, it relies a lot on the strat. Now they're going to go back to one of the very few variations they have for it, which is the default A hit. Moving themselves in, they're going to use a couple smokes and want to get themselves out into the site. But if they're as slow as they have been in previous rounds, they're going to give CLG plenty of time to rotate in. The Molly blocks them off from getting control of the forklift over there, and JDM picks up the first kill, still holding himself on the site. In the meantime, Color's just flashing the hell out of it, but there's Skadoodle posted up back just below the Shroud spot. He's going to be able to take down Color, and he finds another one too on a Haze. So they actually are able to hold this off. JDM trying to find a way back in, but there's another peek from Skadoodle. Shuts down JDM, and now they've got control of this site, and essentially the round is Tarek. He's not even moving towards the site. He's just going to save the op.
That is big. Skadoodle coming up huge, holding forklift. A couple good kills there, and then the aggressiveness. So he's back into it, at least for now. It's going to be the first round for Cloud9, and the important thing as well, on top of this, 4 members surviving, they can build up some money. And if they can win one more, this next round for CLG, they're going to be pretty invested into it. They might just be out of money if they lose 2 in a row here. So Cloud9 with an opportunity, while the score looks a little bit ugly for them right now, that can turn around so quickly if they force a save out of CLG.
So now from C9, finally onto the board here. But a long road to recover they still have to go towards. And some of these rounds have been dominant for CLG, so you would imagine there'd be plenty of cash left over in their coffers now to continue to rebuy into these next rounds and now contest what C9 have brought to the table this time. We'll see exactly how that pans out in just a moment.
No double op setup now for CLG. That goes down to just running out of money in their coffers, so can't afford to have that double op. They do have plenty of nades though. 4 Molotovs that they had before JDM used his, and all the smokes they could possibly need. And this is a new angle that Cloud9 hasn't seen yet in this matchup from JDM to watch that boost.
Big focus on the A-site defense once again, and Shroud actually going to get tagged a little bit early on, but
he wins that though. That's a man battle with Cutler.
Yeah, Cutler also brought down very low, just a 30 HP. So CLG hit pretty heavily here early on. As now C9 though, they're still going to play the patient game. They're still going to be holding back, waiting for their actual opportunity to get into this bomb site without losing any players. They want to force the rotations early from CLG if they can, try to make some noise on the alternate site. And eventually that timer's going to get low enough to where CLG may just start to rotate out of necessity here. And Shroud's going to start things off by tossing the smoke out onto the A bomb site.
This is a thing he's done a couple times, and he also did it last during the execute. So maybe just masking that play for the future at JDM. That's an opportunity for him that he misses, and he's burning now, so he's got to get away. He wanted to hold that a little bit longer. It looked like that was going to work out for him. But he does get over towards this A bomb site just in time. It's Fugly now with the M4. He's got to watch it. JDM again Molotov's out of position, feeling very uncomfortable. He's got to figure out where he wants to go. Peering towards door. There's a smoke to cover him, but there's Stewie. That's a nice shot, though. Good recovery from JDM. He does eventually fall after 2. But the bomb site is lost. Nothing in the middle, trying to lurk. He's going to get taken out. Skadoodle over towards Forklift. I don't think he realizes how close Cutler is. There's a little bit of miscommunication because Cutler snuck right by him and Skadoodle's not aware of it. So it's all down to Slemmy, the new acquisition in a 1-on-3.
Slemmy trying to hold himself off. His eyes definitely focused on eliminating Cutler at this point, but he's also got to be cautious of these players coming outside of Squeaky. Brings one down a little bit low, but he too's been hit. Finds that first kill, but unable to transfer the spray. Cutler is going to end this round with a 3K. Great positioning, a great aggressive play on that site from Cutler. And it'll bounce back CLG right into this matchup and should reset C9's economy.
That's huge for CLG. There should be another buy, especially with that plant. Like we mentioned, 4 members for C9 survived. I imagine they're gonna buy right back into this because they built up some money off that with an extra 800 from the plant. They should be able to continue buying, and they are. Once again, Skadoodle though forced to have no armor with this AWP.
Smokes go out, denying the early pressure coming out from middle, but it's not going to stop anything from Boost, which has been the favorite position from C9, and they're going to go heavy on it this round too. So much so that CLG does not even try to defend it. Fugly was here, but very quickly rotated himself back up highway, and that's going to give free control to Stewie once more, who's been getting this a lot this half, actually.
Yeah, but look at the cost. I mean, you can just see the low economy situation that they're in. They have all the rifles that they'll need, but they only have 1 smoke left at this stage in the round. They have 1 flashbang as well. 2 Molotovs and 2 AGs next to those, but they have mid control, but it's just what do they have to use to really exploit that fact? And from here, I mean, still, again, even though they have the control of mid, they're not putting pressure anywhere. So it's just a waiting game to see if CLG is going to rotate into them, and Cutler might just oblige it.
Cutler slowly pushing up now. Going to see if he can spot any of these players. Flashbang goes out of connects, but can't get a good angle behind the box. And Stewie, he's challenged actually by Fugly, who pushes up behind the sandbags there. He's still able to hold the 1v1. In the meantime, nothing. Finding his first kill. That's back over towards the B-bomb site. Cutler finding 2 picks up of his own, but Skadoodle does trade that back out. Leaving it down to just 2 left alive from CLG, and they're on either bomb site too, so this has got to be a hero play in either direction. Smokes implode back over towards Checkers on B, but it's not going to cause the panic rotation from JDM just as of yet. He does posture himself up a little bit closer to highway, but that's about it, so it's definitely going to be all on Tarek to hold this hit off.
And he's got nothing to slow them down. He's got no nades. Meanwhile, nothing as a Molotov. 2 HGs, they can force him out, but it's not needed. Slemmy with a nice shot. JDM, a little bit curious why he's even coming this close. He's got to be careful. There's a very small chance of him winning this round, so he's got to just fall away. A couple shots through the wall. One almost looked like it should have connected. But again, I mean, that's Cloud9. That's good control of mid. Good for them to get all the way out. Just a little bit unfortunate that CLG, I mean, they kind of brought the fight to C9 and lost both of them. It wasn't C9 actually doing anything past that. It was CLG trying to regain control of mid. Hayes also getting aggressive over towards B, just walking into the crosshairs. So it's going to be 7-2 for CLG, and the money is a little bit beat up. I think this might be the save that Cloud9 was looking for.
Tarek's completely out of cash there, so no way they're going to be able to afford the buy up here. C9 finally have a chance to swing back here, but it needs to happen quickly.
Actually,
with this.
With an AWP, and also Cutler might be able to get an M4. I think they might very well just do it just because they know, I mean, Tarek's going to have to double save, so why not have him invest now? This actually could be, because it's also a situation where C9 hasn't built up a winning streak at the moment. So see if they can once again reset that economy.
Question though is, do they want to risk doing that with such a large lead at this point in time? They still have the cushion to work with. They could easily get over a round or 2 here to allow themselves to build up to a better buy. We'll find out in a moment here, and it does look like they are going to be buying up quite a bit here. Fugly and Hayes get the CZs in hand. Rifle goes on a Cutler, and Tarek upgrades himself to a Scout. So they are going to try to risk it and see if they can shut down C9 before they get their foot on the ground here and establish their own economy.
JDM's got to make the play, and he starts it off well. Even closes the door behind him. What a gentleman. Hayes with the CZ right behind the smoke. He's pushed through it. He's not going to be prepared for this. It doesn't look like he has any idea that he even wants to check that corner, but wisely, or perhaps luckily, he falls back.
And now this is going to prompt Hayes to move up a little bit more too. Even he's a bit cautious, trying to see if he can spot some of these guys out in the open. Fires way too soon. Back over on Skadoodle as he spots him out in the open. So now has to fall back and sort of give up this aggressive push, as if he decided to push forward, he would more than likely be a dead man, just giving away an extra life and evening out this man advantage here against C9.
C9 looks a little bit scared. They're very unsure of where they want to go in a 4-on-5. Lining up again for an execute onto this A bomb site. Although actually, it kind of looks like it's going to be... It could very well be a fake. No one's actually in A main, so even if they throw these smokes, it's going to take a while for them to actually get out and attack the bomb site. They might just try and pull an extra player away and just attack the B bomb site or go towards mid. And actually, yeah, they're going to boost right over mid. This might turn into a mid to B split. Cutler's been pulled away. It's exactly what it's designed for. Hayes with the CZ, he's got to at least spot this out.
Tarek as well moving away from this one too, but in the meantime, some of the players have shifted inside of A main, so going for that mid control. Stewie is going to find the first kill, but at a heavy cost to his own life. He's down at 4 HP. He's not going to decide to push towards Highway, where it's very overexposed. Instead, joins the main offensive group, and Slubby finds the first kill here, but he too, look at how low everybody on C9 is. Skadoodle's the only player at a good amount of HP, but they need to get into this site very quickly. You can see one of them still posted. That's going to be nothing way back inside of A main. They've got a couple guys in these hiding spots. That's Skadoodle there that peeks back out. Finds a shot in the JDM, so it leaves it to Tarek, but he's got nothing to do. He knows some of these players are low. Finds that first kill, but I highly doubt C9 are going to give him anything else.
Yeah, Cloud9, that round did not look likely. But some very fortuitous kills. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we want to see out of Cloud9, where they exert pressure. They throw those smokes towards the 8 bomb site, force CLG to make a decision to rotate. And they can pick players off from there. And actually, maybe, oh, that's a nice shot. Maybe going a little bit unnoticed, but Tarek just sticking around long enough to grab a kill. The main goal of that was to save this AWP. He's actually even aware that someone could be flanking him, so nothing might walk right into this, and he's going to run around the corner. Tarek finds it. Really, really good stuff from Tarek in a losing round.
Nicely done by Tarek there too, and we were just talking about this with the floor set coming in. The reason was to try and destabilize C9's economy, and with them dropping that many players, he's going to do a great job of keeping it in a maintainable position for the time being now. So C9 not getting away just as of yet, but they are bringing the scoreline a little bit closer this time.
This was a sick shot. Really nice through the edge of the truck, and one more for good measure. But now they're only going to be on pistols. They have the AWP on JDM. And he invests in light armor because give yourself a little bit of a chance. We saw what he can do with it earlier, and he's going to be over at the B bomb site, which could catch C9 off guard, and actually, he's going to go aggressive with it. He wants to find this out. And there's a flashbang just to give him a chance to peek, and sees nothing. Didn't peek too wide with it, so now he's just going to fall back.
Slummy as well, getting ready to see if these guys try to do a counter boost back over towards the vents. Just a very, very slow type of play coming out from C9 now. Because they have no reason to rush things. They know that CLG is going to be broken after that force up here. And they themselves are aware of it too. CLG slowly actually going to take the gamble here. Big shift moving away from the B bombs. They're going to leave it completely open for the taking as they try to commit all 5 players to the A site in hopes that they'll end up hitting towards that site.
It's not a bad idea as well, because on top of that, even you gamble over this way. Maybe they come to you, maybe they don't. But if they don't, you have players with JDM, with that AWP, who can help guard that weapon. So Stewie's going to peek out, and he's going to see multiple. He sees 4. Doesn't see the 5th, but either way, Cloud9's going to take that, knowing at the very least, or at the very worst, they're going to have a 4-on-1 situation at the B bomb site.
Yep, that's going to prompt a very quick hit over there towards B as they move themselves in. AK goes into the hands of Tarek to give an armored player at least that big gun to work with here, and it looks like he's going to push himself back over possibly towards the vents if they even want to try to really go for this retake. C9 still
one on the other side of the map to close them in, to take these guns away. So CLG, or at least, going to get 2 kills, but the big win is that AK-47 that they get to salvage.
Posting themselves up now to try and stop them from being hunted down and dropping these 2 big guns, which they should be able to take into the next round without too much trouble.
They also, I mean, they might as well give themselves the opportunity. They have JDM with an AWP and they have an AK as well. See if Tarek or JDM can get an early kill, give them an opportunity to get back into this, to create some kind of a miracle retake. It's not working out though. Now they need to fall away, and that's where the mistake almost comes in. Luckily, Tarek is there to bail out JDM. And C9, they have no one on the other side of the map to close them in, to take these guns away. So CLG, or at least, going to get 2 kills, but the big win is that AK-47 that they get to salvage for the next round.
So there's another one coming up now. Like we were saying before, a good opportunity for C9 to get back into this game. There's 3 rounds behind CLG, but they're also done with saving at this point, and carrying over both the AWP and the rifle to the next round is actually going to save these CTs quite a bit of cash here as well. As you can see, the stands are full here. The DreamHack's that way.
Yeah, no surprise. The one place to get beer is also full. That's pretty cool.
So here we go, back into another gun round. JDM with the AWP in hand. 3 M4s coming out. Very limited on utility, however, when you look at those 3 players with the M4s. Hayes, Cutler, and Tarek really not bringing all that much. So they're going to try to counter that out by going for a very aggressive play. JDM pushing himself inside of A main, and Cutler jumping up a little bit there to support him. As C9, they have been posting this position as a very big favorite for these players to push in from onto the A bomb site.
This is a pretty brutal stack, though, if Cloud9 was to commit to any kind of presence in A main. It's a very, very harsh vertical stack, especially because Cutler up top, he's there. I mean, if that AWP rings out, if it gets the first kill, if there's a second player who's going to try and trade it, Cutler's going to catch him very much off guard because Cloud9 would not be, or anyone really, would not be aiming for that position either way. It doesn't look like C9's going to fall for it. The JDM's still going to stick around for the moment. Stewie's made his way out mid. We've seen this a couple times. And still, Cloud9 is just... I mean, they have no control over towards B. You can see Skadoodle on the minimap. He's all the way back in T-spawn, just watching for the push. So they don't want to have any presence there, and there's a nice pop flash peek delayed. Fugly, last time he did that, he was taken out by Stewie, but this time he wins the battle.
And so now, CLG have the advantage once again at the beginning of the round, and they haven't even realized as of yet here that JDM, posting himself, is still actually inside of the same main doorway, getting ready to shut these players down if they try to go for the take. The bait shot, though, works out great. So they got that position, and he's not even going to try to screw around with that now. He falls back into a safer spot. Still fairly aggressive at this point in time, but as he leaps back in, they've all got nades in hand. JDM's going to escape with a free kill. In the meantime, Fugly found another pickup in Cutler. He's got a strong grasp on Squeaky, so this has gone from bad to worse for C9, down to only 2, and they're not even in the site yet.
Yeah, what a sick play from JDM. That is a ballsy move to make, but it works out for him. And now Cloud9 is forced away. They've got to deal with Fugly, or Tarek, excuse me, and that is a very nice shot. Shroud spots him out. Can't even win that one. That's something we haven't touched on. Shroud has been very, very quiet in this map so far. We saw it on the scoreboard earlier. I believe he's still down at just 1 kill, so one of those stars from C9 not showing up quite yet.
Fortunately, not really getting... I'm not lucky with his 1v1s here. And
it's interesting how much success Stewie's had getting out mid and having control of the middle portion of this map, but that Cloud9's not throwing more bodies there with him. I mean, there's no one that round to trade him out. Someone tried to follow it up delayed and maybe catch Fugly unawares, thinking that he wouldn't check it back again. Doesn't work out for him, but Cloud9 could put more pressure there. Either way, this round is going to be everyone towards the B bomb site. Cloud9, no one anywhere else on the map. They're committed to this already.
A broken buy coming out from C9 here as well. Tech9's Deagle. Single AK on Shroud, along with Slemmy picking up the Galil, but Tarek already shutting down one of these players. Cutler's ready on the flank, but not even be needed there as Tarek. He is finally going to go down to the hands of Slemmy, but now Cutler comes in. He too only manages to pick up one, but it doesn't matter as with Hazed and Fugly on the points, we'll be able to dispatch the remaining C9 players. Not even getting onto the site that time, no plan as well. So the forced attempt to get themselves into the site does not play out well, and another round will go into the hands of CLG here.
Tough so far for Cloud9. 4 rounds playing 9, and this time it's going to be all pistols. No armor invested in whatsoever. They do upgrade a couple, but it's going to be just a very light utility. And again, it's 4 players towards this B bomb site, and this is a little bit more doable. Only Tarek is here. 1 pop flash can force him away. And if he gets caught out in the open, it could be the whole round. Now he's blind. Now he's got to fall back into the site. And he's caught out in the open. There it is. The shot's baited out. Stewie finds him. Bomb is going to get planted, and he has the AWP.
Everybody from CLG, though, is collapsing into this site, and keep in mind just how little utility C9 have to actually hold back this retake. Unless that AWP comes out in big waves, it's not really going to do all that much to stop the actual retake from CLG. As they posture up, they get ready to move back into this site and get ready to take back control. But again, C9, with the very minimal investment they've brought, this is already a great round. Getting that bomb onto the floor, and CLG being so passive about this retake, they're really not being so active about trying to get themselves into the site. Finally, Slemmy starts to sneak around to look for a flank, but Cutler holds that off, but now they need to get back in because they're running out of time here. And now that op press is going to come in. Stewie finding one, finds the second. So far, evenly traded, but now takes the advantage. And only Cutler left alive. He's going to miss that shot. Cutler gets the touchdown grenade, but Skadoodle, is he going to go for the knife? He actually gets spotted. Cutler finds the kill, but it doesn't matter because time is out. And C9 are going to take this round.
Well, Tarek said he wanted to see some knives in this match, and it almost happens. And that's the thing. Cloud9 goes right back towards the B bomb site. Tarek gets caught out. That's a nightmare situation. Because it's so early in the round, it's so easy for C9 to set up in these post-plant positions, but it's all Stewie. I mean, this is fantastic use of baiting. You ever want to watch how it's smart to bait your teammates? It's that round right there. Letting his teammates take the attention, letting him take the bullets, and peeking out with the AWP for a very, very nice 3 kills, including the opener.
And now JDM going to try to play aggressively out the CT op again. Works out in the open, but in comes Stewie, leaping down from the vents. Immediately catches a trade on the Tarek, and they're just going to go for the quick take. Stewie almost finding another frag there as Hayes has some shaky aim, bringing him down to 17 HP, but Shroud finishes him off. And also the molly inside of the vents is going to deny any quick relocation of CLG's players back into this site to try and hold things off. They get control, but they're quick coming in through the vents. Fugly finding another pickup, but are they expecting the second player? It doesn't matter because Skadoodle's going to miss that shot anyway. JDM dead to the floor by Shroud. Shroud's been silent so far throughout most of this matchup, but now he's got time to shine. And the 1v2 delays that plant, but that may not be the best idea because now they're pushing up to this bomb site. Going to try to hold it off, but Fugly shuts it down. And CLG will take a 10-5 advantage coming off of the first half.
It's actually, all things considered, when C9's down 6-0, it's a pretty decent recovery to get 5 rounds from that kind of a situation. So not too bad from them, although that last round looked like it could have been easily in their favor. A nice retake from CLG. Storming through the vents just as quickly and just as aggressively as Cloud9 did to initially get into the B-bomb site. 10-5 for the CT side. I mean, that's not too bad. We mentioned Cloud9 was going to struggle on their T sides. Now they're going to have to switch over to definitely their stronger side on this map is their CT side, is their defense.
And that's, of course, where we'll hopefully see some of the players that were a bit weaker in that first half come alive a bit more. Notably, Shroud, we really didn't see all that much of in this first half, is an absolute monster on that B-site defense. So it's definitely going to get a lot stronger there for him. Yeah,
we saw that match at the Major, I believe it was, in the group stage, where he was just a beast in checkers.
As well, Slemmy and Nothing will be your men to look to more than likely to try and hold off that A-bomb site, as they've been placing those two together. Skadoodle acting as a sort of rotator with that op, posting up in middle. Some more assistance coming over to Shroud if need be as well. A couple changes coming in there, but obviously 5-10 is not going to be the optimal situation to work with. And things will need to start off strong from the get-go, as otherwise we could be looking at a very quick shutdown from CLG to take away the home map of C9.
And this will be a little bit better of an opportunity for Skadoodle to get into the game. I mean, this is the thing. We saw a couple really good rounds from him. It's mostly impact when his teams have already taken control and he's able to help them out, support them with the op, and hold angles, and kind of get aggressive in the craziness of the round.
Is that Mango?
Smash Bros upstairs.
Yeah, wrong game.
It's all right. Mango's a sick Smash player. He's fun to watch.
Just saying. I didn't see him anywhere.
Don't bash Falco.
So we'll get back into things now. As CLG jump onto their T side. With C9 back on the defense now. Hopefully a little bit stronger. So that is going to be their leading side. But Tarek, a long-range shot, almost destroys Stewie. Brings down at 26 HP. C9 wanted to get aggressive on Streaky. They managed to push them back, but now look at Hayes. He's coming in, and it falls to Nothing. Try and hold things back off here inside of the checkers area. Surprised at first, but he cannot connect that kill, so JDM is going to take him down without a single trade. Tarek falling flat a little bit back out towards mid as C9 rotates out from the A-bomb site, but now he's going to connect the kill. Stewie trades out, but it doesn't even matter. 4-on-2. Cloud9 in a rough patch here to start off this half.
Yeah, very, very rough. That's showing from Nothing, which is a little bit unfortunate, and now that's a nice flash from CLG. This looks like a completely, we talked about the inconsistency of the level of performance in North American teams, but this is a completely different CLG than we saw not only yesterday against C9, but even this morning. Some very coordinated peaks with their flashbangs and teammates. That's going to give them an 11-5 lead, and they've won both pistol rounds and have a massive lead in this match.
Scott's not even going to attempt it. Just going to post that back inside of CT spawn. Not really saving all that much either, so not really all that much left that he can do, but he might as well just take this into the next round.
Well, yeah, because he's also the opper, so you know that, if they could force by here, but more than likely Skadoodle just get that off for the 4th round. He's got 2 flashbangs they can use. I mean, these are flashbangs that generally are bought on these 2nd or 3rd rounds to try and create something, to try and kind of have some surprising pop flash peak strategy when you're at such a huge disadvantage. So that's some money he doesn't have to invest. He's got the kit. If things go their way, he can bail them out with the defuse. And he's not going to buy a single thing outside of it, so saving up for that AWP.
C9 go for the split again, but completely ignoring mid defense now. They're going to leave it wide open for CLG if they want to take early control of it. Not looking like they're going to go for it just as of yet, as they're actually going for the pretty default split tier 2. Holding back, waiting for that over-aggression to come out from C9, and if they can catch it early, then, well, getting control of the actual site should be a walk in the park, regardless of which site they decide to go for here. Molly going into checkers here. Should allow Hayes to push up a little bit. Shroud has the angle lined up with the Deagle, but not really going to be able to connect, however. That's the correction there. Finds Cutler just outside of Sunroom when he tries to re-peek it, and the first kill of the round goes into his favor.
Shroud lives. The headshot. Tarek now has mid control. He's going to peer up towards highway, and actually the timing just doesn't work out for C9. 2 members rotating over, and they were looking that way. Here's going to come the pop flash towards A main. Tarek's not going to be able to spot this, but it doesn't work out as efficiently as they would have liked. Stewie almost able to get that kill. Now Tarek's got a huge advantage, and Skadoodle's not ready for him to be there.
Shroud looking for at least one more as he hides himself just around the corner from the truck angle, trying to chase in. He's got a lot of very low players from CLG, so if he can even connect one shot on essentially any one of these guys, that could be big for him to swing back, but his first target may end up being the one that's still at full health. Rounding back out. They know where he is now. They can definitely hear those footsteps. It's all just a matter of shutting him down. But he himself is taking this very cautiously, trying to look for one kill. That's a great pop flash, though, and now he's going to be a dead man to the hands of Hayes, as CLG do rack up a second round, only losing one player along the way.
This is really, really good stuff. And this is, for Cloud9, everything rests on that first gun round. Because this time you're not going to invest much at all. And you've got to hope that Skadoodle is going to be able to come alive and have an impact with that AWP. Either way, CLG, 2 SMGs to go against unarmored opponents, 3 AKs behind it, all the utility in the world, which they've been using so efficiently in this match so far. And Cloud9's going to have a mid-stack. It's not going to work out for him initially. They could boost over and try and catch something. It all depends how long CLG is going to take. No one's actually watching for this reverse boost. So that could be a little bit scary. They're pushed up so aggressively towards A main. Stewie might not even have a chance to have any impact. The bomb is dropped back here, though. Cloud9 doesn't quite know this yet. It's a chance here that they could throw a wrench into the plans of CLG.
They should be finding that bomb in just a moment, too, as Stewie drops down. There's nothing here. No one's watching the backside. Cutler finds that first kill, but Stewie is keeping himself silent. Same thing with nothing, as they're going to try to line up the monster flag. Now they cleared up the site, though, and they're going to be turning behind him in just a second. Stewie can't even pick up that first kill. Nothing, though, having a bit more success as he takes down Cutler, but at the same time, Skadoodle has also been eliminated. So nothing just on his own here in this position with no armor investment and still 4 players left alive from CLG. It was a good attempt to try and throw a wrench into the chains, but it's not really going to work out all that well.
A little bit of a bummer as well. They didn't spot the bomb when they dropped down. Stewie just goes right into A main. So that's not a mistake of any sort. Just a little bit unfortunate with the bomb positioning. CLG now stretched out their lead, and this is the round that is needed for this Cloud9 fans to explode. This is the round they have to win if they want a chance to come back into this.
And so now getting into the gun rounds, of course, for C9. Not even able to get all 4 players with M4s as well. Slemmy's going to have to downgrade himself too from Moss, and he's only got 2 flashbangs sitting behind that, so not a whole lot of success very early on for C9 whatsoever. And Skadoodle pushing himself forward here. He's going to posture up back inside of Checkers. That Molly, a little bit too close for comfort, so he does have to give way. Connecting that shot, but it's not a full kill. Switching over to the pistol, but Cutler takes his teammate's place, and he's going to find the first blow. Now Shroud ready to drop down. They're lined up for him, and he's going to finish them both off. Hayes and Cutler both go down, and C9 now take the advantage, and they recover the op.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, Shroud even has him lined up. That's perfect. And we talked about how good he can be on this B bomb site, so hopefully it's a sign for Cloud9 for things to come. There's another reverse boost, and that's the bomb down. Now there's no question they have it. He spots it fly into the air as he gets that kill. Remaining 2 members of CLG over towards the door, but instead of falling back, they just want to fight forward, see if they can get a kill at this A bomb site. Knowing perhaps everyone from Cloud9 is going to gather up around the bomb and thinking they have someone isolated. But Stewie with some nice movement, he gets the jump on JDM, but what a response. Takes the head off.
JDM shutting that down. They have site control, but no bomb. Now they need to go on a mission to recover this, playing themselves together as they push back out and around towards middle. Their first target likely is going to end up being Slemmy over here as he's waiting outside of that garage for these guys. Shroud's also postured up here too, but take a look at nothing. Actually, he's already boosted up here, looking for the first blow. He's going to find it against Fugly, and now just shut down JDM. He misses his shot, so it's all going to come down to nothing. He closes it down, and C9 will be able to recover here and find a 6th round.
Yeah, a double op setup as well. Essentially for free. I mean, 1 op was purchased in the last round that Shroud salvaged for Skadoodle, but the second one is all brought out. And this is Shroud just descending from the vents, and then nothing boosted up with a couple nice kills here to close things out. He's going to bring the op forward, and he's going to give it over to Stewie, who's the secondary opper for the squad. Slemmy's going to be on the Famas. They have good utility, but a 5 AK buy, and actually full nade kits on everyone for CLG, and everyone there lining up for an A execute. Stewie's going to get aggressive through door. Not going to see anyone there initially, but if they come in delayed, he might have the angle.
It's going to be a good nade going on a Tarek there too, chopping off 1/3 of his HP. He's going to be a little bit lower here, but CLG, look at what they're doing. All the nades going in. It's going to be a quick attempt to execute over here to the outer bomb site. No shift up to push themselves over towards mid, but they will use that control as well. Hayes and JDM moving in there to take control later, and Stewie's going to miss his first shot, but there's no punishment onto that as well, and nade's going to roll in directly onto him, and Tarek will finally be able to finish him off, but now in comes Skadoodle and nothing. They pick up 2 kills, and there's nothing shutting it all down. He's going to pick up 2 more before finally falling to Cutler, but now it's all on Cutler in the 1v2, and Skadoodle's going to deny that as he pushes back out around the truck angle and finds the final kill of the round.
Big play from nothing coming into that smoke, denying them control of the site, and even coming right back out to help Skadoodle out with another kill. So good stuff holding that. I mean, you can see this pushing forward, stuck in the smoke. He knows he has to make a play, turns around, grabs. Actually, that was Stu that stole it, but he does grab that one on Hayes there at the end. And that forces CLG after that buy. No plant that round, so they're going to be back on a pistol. So now a chance for Cloud9. Build up some money. They cannot sustain too many losses in this round. They have to have at least 3 members survive.
And it's going to be another big push coming in from CLG with these aggressive positions. Those losses could be what they're looking for. However, Shroud grabs 3, Slemmy with the 4th, and there's no response at all. So Slemmy's just going to pick up that final kill. An easy round for C9 as they shut down CLG once more.
And that might help Shroud wake up a little bit more. So a double kill, this time a triple, just an easy spray down for him. Help maybe increase some of that confidence moving forward. They're going to need him to survive if they want to make this comeback. They need him to kind of get into this game. JDM back on the op though. And with all 5 members of C9 survive, you can see right there at the end the amount of money they have. They can sustain some losses, so now it just helps them out be a little bit more comfortable with their money. And a default setup.
It's now Tarek posts back here too, waiting for the aggressive push to come in. Grabs one of them actually, but nothing does respond. Finding the trade for that one. A-side defenses will be left a little bit weak, but essentially just as weak as the B-side here now too. As they're going to go for the even spread.
And with that knowledge, they push forward and they see only one. They trade that kill off. Now, I mean, CLG knows they don't have control anywhere, so they have to commit to this B bomb site. It looked like they were going to pick things up, but they're allowing time to rotate. That's a missed Molotov.
That does not connect, and Shroud too, still posted up in this site. Suddenly reaches him out from up on top there. Now Shroud is going to be tested, but not able to get his weapon out in time. Almost grabs a kill, but he's not going to be able to find anything. Slemmy tries to push out before he actually gets reinforcements, which is going to cause a huge mistake here. But at the same time, nothing. It almost looked like he wanted to push in on his own there. The Molotov going back out. Not really going to be able to deny all that much. CLG, though, get the bomb up onto the site, and they should be clear to plant this now.
That's a little bit rough. Slemmy, he wanted to time with that pop flash to peek in and try and grab 1 or 2 quick kills and just fall away because he knew they hadn't gotten into the bomb site. He's able to grab one there, at least slows them down and allow the rotation to get in, but poorly timed. He gets blinded by his own teammate's flash, peeks just a little bit too soon.
And Cloud9 aren't even going to attempt this retake. They're giving it up. They're going to save the guns. And they're going to let CLG escape with the 14th round.
They're going to be able to buy here, though, and if nothing in Skadoodle, there's very little chance that CLG goes for a chase here because they don't have a lot of economy built up. They don't have a safety net to fall back on, so they don't want to lose too much. And nothing in Skadoodle can drop, so it's still going to be a very strong buy for C9 next round. Should have all the nades they need.
So CLG give it another good chance here to try and break the morale of C9 here, and 1 more round to essentially do the trick, but 2 more are needed, of course, to close out the map itself. Being very, very close, and if they could do this, then with this heading to Mirage, I do believe, for the second map, and considering the fairly poor result we saw from C9 there yesterday, there could be a leading chance for a 2-0 in CLG's favor coming off of a victory from this map.
Yeah, there could be. I mean, these last 2 maps are very good CLG maps.
So we'll see how this goes, of course. A very, very important round for C9 to try and keep themselves in this game. And Shroud's going to still play to that aggressive position inside of Checkers, with Slemmy supporting a little bit further back. Stewie, though, posturing up to peek inside of A main, not forcing any repositions off of that HE grenade. And JDM also watching literally these both offers. Still just keeping eyes on the same exact angle, hoping for one to get aggressive. That's actually a great pop flash from Shroud, but no follow-up. So CLG will have plenty of time to recover. And they just got the intel on the positioning. Shroud misses that shot, tries to escape a little bit too soon there. So Cutler's going to take him down, but at the same time, we also saw Slemmy finding a kill. Stewie, though, picks up the first one, and Slemmy finding another one. Stewie, good recovery. Finds another pickup on Teteric and is now being challenged from Squeaky. Fugly's going to find that kill, but now he's got a 1v3.
That is a sick double kill from Stewie. That was an incredible second shot. Bomb is dropped all the way back. There's a minute to work with for Fugly to kind of decide where he wants to go. It looks like he wants to bring it right back towards this A bomb site. Why not just go for it? Smoke is still there to help cover. There's a massive gap, though, so he's got to try and find one pick. They see him spotted up on top, but he gets the headshot onto Slemmy. Skadoodle with the op still can try and deny his passage into the site. That flashbang is just going to slow him down. Molotov, though, might give him the cover he needs, and actually might just run the gauntlet here.
Smoke's going to roll back out there, too. Covering, all right, covering inside of AMA, but nothing.
Jordan's had enough.
Pops back out, finds the one tap and shuts it down for C9 there that round.
This is dirty. This is such a great reaction. Back to it. Huge disadvantage there, but such a nice shot from Stewie. Talked about him improving since he's been picked up by this team, but you can see some of the shots, some of the impact he's had in these rounds has been very massive in this comeback. So 9-14, still 5 rounds down, still a long way to go. Going against only pistols. There is some armor, light investment of utility. Stewie is again going to be tested.
Stewie picking up the first kill, nothing, finding another one with the grenade combo, and it's a shutdown. Fugly grabs the only frag. That time CLG trying to run themselves out in the site, but the fire's burning, and they're not able to escape it.
You can see though, I mean, look how composed these C9 guys. They know they're still haven't made this comeback yet. It's feeling a little bit more likely from our perspective, but Cloud9 knows they've got to continue this winning streak. They have to ride this momentum.
So for CLG, another buy comes into the mix, and JDM, another chance to cause some havoc with the op in his hands. He won't have any utility or even an upgraded pistol sitting behind his own buy, but the rest of the team is going to have a good enough buy themselves here. We do see a couple downgrades coming into the mix. Both Cutler and Tarek have to move down towards Galil's. And Cloud9 definitely having the advantage at this point, but as you already mentioned here, still a long way to go to still tie this back up, and an even longer way to actually steal this map away from CLG after they've built up such a great lead. And C9 is now starting to climb the ladder back up to tie with them.
JDM being a little bit tricky here with the AWP posted up indoors, seeing if he can catch anyone rotating from mid back towards the A bomb site, get him a pick that way. Unfortunately, Cloud9 seems pretty dedicated to this mid control. Nothing at Sandbag. Skadoodle here with the AWP as well. They only have one member. That's going to be Stewie with the op far back at the A bomb site, so no one needs to really rotate. He hasn't spotted anything quite yet. This does mean if CLG decides to come out the door silently, they would get the A bomb site for free, but it's very low likely that anyone just walks out without a smoke. And now they're going to know.
Skadoodle's going to find the first kill into Calder when he tries to push out towards mid to get control there. That immediately kills big angle that CLG could have worked for to try and hold off this retake later on if Cloud9 did not decide to go for any sort of mid pressure here, but they will get the bomb onto the ground here. And now it's up to C9 to find their way back into the site itself. Looking for a way in. It's actually going to be a fairly long rotate too, coming out from I believe both Slemmy and Shroud, as they didn't really get this information until just now that they were actually committing into this site. But now they're going to start things. Stewie again lead the charge. Good volley placement will force one of the members of CLG out of position here. Skadoodle finding the first kill, but JDM trading it out now. Nothing finding another one, and JDM's going to come under pressure. He misses his shot. He's alone. He finds the no-scope looking for another one, but he's been tagged. And now trying to hold off. It's not going to work out. And the guys from Cloud9 pull off another successful retake. Dak is their 11th round.
Very patient and very composed. Trying to make this comeback, one kill, and they play for the retake in that 5-on-4. They don't contest CLG getting into the site and getting the plant down. It's good stuff from Cloud9, a very, very effective retake. CLG now losing a couple straight. That plant's going to help out as this losing bonus builds up. But still, this round's going to be a save for them, maybe a half investment.
C9 here, a really great chance. Now that they have the advantage, and their defenses are looking great here too, even when we do see CLG getting past them on these A-hit attempts. The retakes are also starting to look a lot better from the C9 side now that they've had a chance to really establish themselves and get a good amount of streak running here. So once again, CLG will be attempting for the A-hit. It'll be a lot weaker this time. Just a couple upgraded pistols. JDM not even bringing anything as he needs to save for that out, but also a lot of free control. It's the same thing as last round. They should be able to get themselves out into the site. They shouldn't have too much trouble planning. However, Stewie is going to find 2 kills, a third, and Skadoodle finds a 4th. And that had to have been up close. He couldn't see anything. Another great kill from Skadoodle. And again, another overall shutdown for C9.
Yeah, that is savage. Now the money is building up. I mean, it's not a huge deal because CLG only needs 2 rounds to win this map, but with the money, they can sustain so many losses. They can lose players and not have to worry about it. Not bad.
So here we go now. CLG, they've had so many chances just to close out this match, but I mean, this is so often the problem for CLG is they get a huge lead going, and then something happens towards the end of the match that just completely throws things off, and their opposing team makes around this huge comeback, and that's happening once again here.
Well, also the question is, when do they call a timeout and say, this one's slipping away, guys? Let's everybody just take a breath, calm down, get composed, get back into this match. It hasn't happened yet. We talked about it earlier today. They apparently don't like to take timeouts because it was the same situation earlier. Now trying to get mid control. Nothing's going to be here. Going to pop flash himself through this. Slemmy in the vents is going to find one. Tarek gets that kill on a nothing as he comes through the smoke. And there's Slemmy still in vents. Knows there's one more outside, and he's going to remain aggressive. He finds it. A critical headshot for him, and CLG is stumped. Trying to enter into this B bomb site. Still one member of Cloud9 is here defending against it. There's a flash onto the ground. It's Shroud. Smokes off the main entrance. He's going to swing wide. It's a blind player of CLG. That's Cutler trying to make his way. And Slemmy still a huge round of the new acquisition. Massive kills for him to hold on.
Stewie shooting down the final kill, and now C9 inch ever closer here at this point to once more tying things up. CLG, they've lost the edge here, and this is that momentum thing as well. Things not starting off maybe so hot for them. They managed to string together a couple of rounds at the beginning of this half, but for the most part, it's been C9 dominating the playing field, and we've never seen the recovery of CLG. Every single player from an individual basis has just dropped off the map entirely.
Yeah, they're not getting very many of the kills that they need on this T side to open things up, and we've talked about it. There's been a number of rounds which have been just a slaughter. And there's the pause.
This is so late, though. This is the problem, though. They're leaving themselves the one-round cushion, I believe, now. 14-13.
Yeah. I mean, they do have the losing bonus built up. They can at least, I believe they won the pistol in the first half. No, the pistol was, they won one gun round in this half. I mean, that's kind of the scary part for CLG.
And now taking a moment to figure out exactly how they want to be playing this out. Only a few chances left, and they're not even at match point yet, so there's not even an overtime guaranteed. If C9 round the next 2 for themselves, then they could very well just take this map entirely and yield their advantage after CLG just postured up hugely at the beginning of the first half and throughout most of it, even coming into the second half to a certain degree.
This has been an incredible comeback, and it's also, I mean, it's crazy to think that, you know, some of the most memorable rounds we've had in the second half has been Stewie, not Skadoodle with the AWP, and Nothing has had some good rounds, obviously, and then there's Slemmy stepping up, so it's you know, Shroud and Skadoodle have been a little bit quiet, but still making it work.
Even in that last B hold there, Shroud, I don't think he got a single kill. Shroud was just held up on the side. He was trying to find something, but the smokes were blocking him off. It fell to his teammates just rotating in that quickly, being able to shut that down.
I mean, a lot of their success, some of these retakes we've seen them have on either of the bomb sites have been just very good teamwork. It doesn't require those big individual plays that we're used to seeing out of those star players. It has been very coordinated, which is very, very good to see for a team that has recently had the new pickup of Slemmy.
Slemmy, who's already had some big plays himself here in this matchup, too.
That just previous round, that 4 kill from the vents was huge. That was massive.
Just getting some big plays from him, and now again we ask the question, who on CLG needs to step up to take the mantle here to bounce these guys back into this game? JDM, in all honesty, not really been having the hottest game himself compared to what we saw earlier on Dust.
The hard part too is like I mean, even with the losing bonus built up, their economy hasn't been that strong. So there have been rounds where he hasn't been able to be on the AWP. This time, I mean, he doesn't. You see, he only buys a P250 here. They have that losing bonus. So next round, he'll be able to have anything he could want. They'll be able to have all the nades they need as well. Going right at Shroud, he's got an AK. Going to play with the edge of this smoke, and he finds a gap between the two of them. Does CLG push into this?
They should know that he's going to post up in this position, though, because he's done this in almost every single round this half so far. So he's going to find the first kill. Looking for more, though. They're giving him the room he needs to try and maneuver about this. Molly goes, Dex clotheslines Fugly there, but Hayes gets the response kill, taking down Shroud. Now they're up on the site, but Slemmy's in the one-and-done spot, but he's not going to be done as of yet. Finds a second kill, looking for the third. He knows that JDM's running away. They're going to try to head him off with the pass, and Nothing succeeds. So there we go. Tie game, boys. 14-14 as C9 have rounded the comeback.
All tied up, and that pause for CLG is for this round here. What do they change? You asked who needs to show up. The hometown hero, Hayes, needs to have a big performance here at the end to carry CLG through to this win.
And we'll see how it pans out for them, of course, because JDM, once again, with the up in hand, the rest of the players back up to full AKs, saving up everything for this one round here. They've given C9 so much room to work with, and even this one victory is not going to assure them their own bounce back to finally secure this map just as of yet. C9 are on the warpath, and they're not going to plan on stopping anytime soon here. But to start this round off, CLG making some noise inside of A main, but for the most part, it's definitely looking like another B hit coming out from these guys. 2 players already pushed to the checkers. And Shroud as well, just to note this too, cooled himself off, did not go for the aggressive play inside of that area, which he's been doing quite a lot this half. Decided to hold back instead and play up on the site with Slemmy.
CLG, Cloud9 could have a read on this. They push into A main initially, but they don't rotate anyone over, so now it's just Shroud. Slemmy has fallen. Shroud, what have you got for us? You've got to come huge. Playing with this smoke, he's going to find one. He's got to do more, and he does. Finds that second kill. There's Skadoodle on the rotation. The defense holds strong. Shroud with the third. And Cloud9 bring it to 15.
Shutting it down. What a huge comeback now coming out from C9, and they're just one round away from taking control of their home map. After CLG postured up with such a huge lead, we could very well see C9 take this 16-14, just as Tarek predicted back in the pregame interview, but definitely not in the way that he had imagined it.
What a big-time play from Shroud. That is the kind of star player quality you have. When you have a rough game, you're able to have such a massive impact. Alone in the bomb site, it seems so unlikely. In the middle of that execute, he finds enough time, buys enough kills to buy time for Skadoodle to get over. And again, towards this B bomb site, it seems like CLG really thinks this is their answer to get this last round they need.
They're going to get free control of checkers once again, but that's not going to mean anything here. Shroud is still up on the site, not being punished at all just as of yet. They only have a single smoke left for the entirety of CLG. This is going to be essentially a dry take to push themselves in. Cutler finds the first kill on Slemmy, but Skadoodle's already responded by taking down a player back over on A. JDM picks up Skadoodle on the trade, but now Shroud's turn to party. Goes in that smoke, didn't realize there was actually one back over by the generator, and Tarek is going to find the flank onto him, so Nothing falling back. Moving away from that one, they're going to abandon the vents retake. Only 2 left alive, but they have some good damage on Cutler and Tarek. And this retake is not entirely out of the question just as of yet.
Shroud made such a cool play. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. Nothing finds one of the flank. JDM's not ready for it. Stewie's gone the other route towards CT spawn. They saw both in vents. And Stewie, oh, it's a nice dink. Tarek has to be passive. They're both isolated in the bomb site, and Stewie's got a Molotov. This could be a nightmare for CLG, but he's not going to use it. He just walks right out. Tarek's not looking. That's one on the site. Cutler in a one-on-one with nothing. Walking up, and look at this. It's so perfect. The movement, and he's going to find it. Cutler saves it for CLG.
And that'll tie things up to take us into overtime. CLG survives the onslaught comeback from C9. And we're not going to be done just as of yet. The fans cheering for CLG. And they're going to need it now as going into OT. Things were rough in this second half to allow C9 to mount that big of a comeback. And now they're going to need to piece things together in OT. Once again, for those of you that have not been tuning in, it's going to be MR3 Max Rounds 3, 10K start money for both teams at this beginning.
You got to think of the difference in mentality, though, because CLG winning that last round is a huge sigh of relief. For Cloud9 to mount that comeback, even going into overtime, they're like, all right, we just made the comeback. Now they can go into overtime with a little bit of a different mentality, but CLG's got to just reset. It's only for these 3 rounds.
So we'll be getting into it immediately here, guys. CLG still keeping themselves to the T side. C9 on the CT side, which is going to be great for them, of course, because we saw the big advantage for both teams here came on that CT side. So if things remain in their power, then we could be looking at an easy advantage going into C9, as it was almost all them on the gun rounds for that last half.
Stewie, this is an aggressive play. He's going to find one kill. He's almost going to transfer over to Tarek. Tarek gets both of them, though. Nothing. Couldn't find him quick enough. And Cutler with another. The onslaught of CLG continues. One member still alive in this A bomb site. One over towards B. The Cloud9's got to have some huge individual plays. There's Slemmy. Tarek misses a shot with the AWP. Rotates over towards mid. He gets the dink. He could get another one. He does. But he's in a 1-on-2.
And now trying to hold himself off. We'll try to push himself back over here towards mid. He may actually be able to catch Fugly as well if he got aggressive enough, but I don't think he's going to be in that good enough a position to try and cut off the bomb. Instead, moving in through vents to try and shut down Hayes first, but he's going to have to check down below. Spots the foot, fires off, finds that kill, and he knows the bomb has gone down. No reason to risk anything as of yet. He's just going to fall back outside of the vents to make sure nobody flanks it, but this is going to give Hayes the room he needs to get onto the site and find the plant. And actually, no. He's actually going through and heading over to the A site instead, which is going to be ingenious. Slemmy has no idea he's going for this right now.
Yeah, this is a really good play from Hayes, and he's just going to risk it. Take out the knife. Slemmy's got to continue forward because he has no intel. He was in a position that he's actually, oh, this is perfect for Hayes. His plant's going to go down. He's going to have plenty of time to go wherever he wants. Slemmy, he's going to realize it's at the A bomb site, so now he's got to book it. Oh, but this is, okay.
Hayes going to take the big duel out in the open, but that could be risky, and Slemmy with the pistol out, shutting it down. He's still got to race up to the bomb site, but he's going to take control, and that's C9 taking the lead in OT.
Slemmy again with the huge plays has stepped up massively for Cloud9. And Hayes, he did everything right. It was just such low HP. So much damage is dealt, but this is such a good round from Slemmy. Look at how he has to fight his way out of this situation. Gets that dink, finds the kill eventually, and then eventually cuts off Fugly.
A huge 4K from Slemmy, and even this one too.
That's why you don't run with your knife out, by the way. Always have that pistol ready.
So nicely done, and of course the final play from CLG taking a bit of a risk there, and hoping that he would have done the same, would have been able to catch him off guard, but it's not the case in that low HP. Really going to bite him. Now Stewie, though, posturing up a favorite spot for him, and he is going to have a little bit more support a bit further back. That'll be coming from nothing in the event they try to follow this up with a take. But Stewie is ready. And as well, there could be a pop flash rolling in that he will use, and in fact, he does find that first kill. But now he's been blinded. He doesn't need to get out of here. Squeaky take, though. He's being supported, and again, there's that good teamwork. Nothing just fires into the door to prevent Feed from coming out from there and shutting out his teammate. Now, though, oh my goodness, JDM, he hits the shot, but it's through the barrel, so Stewie is going to find another kill here. Completely kills the A hit. They still don't have the bomb in hand, and in the meantime, Scooter's picking up more frags back over here towards mid. There's Shroud jumping up on top, shuts down Cutler as he tries to push out in the open from Checkers. It just left to Fugly, and he's got nowhere to go.
They have just been picked apart. The aggressiveness of Stewie has caught them all off guard. 6 shots with the AWP, Stewie coming alive. CLG really, 1-on-5, nowhere to go. Fugly's just going to try and, I think he even just lost himself in the smoke, so now he's going to come through it. Second time works out. Not too well, though. Yeah, dead now.
Nothing. Shuts him down before he can get into the safe spot there behind the forklift. It'll be 17 for C9 as they continue to roll it up at this point. And CLG, what has happened? They've fallen apart completely here after such a huge, promising start on their own CT side.
Yeah, and that last round of T-side is a little bit worrying because it seems like you could see some of the frustration. A lot of very individual plays where early on in this matchup, we were talking about how good CLG was playing together with some of the pop flashes, some of the coordination they had on their peaks and their hits. It's all kind of faded away. And now they're facing a situation where they might not win a single round in this first half of overtime. They might not even have a mistake to give up when they transfer back over.
Lining up for the A hit, though, from the side of CLG. 2 players inside of A main. Fugly's ready to work his way out from the squeaky area, too, but he's been mollied out. Nowhere to go at this point, too. Smokes are in, but they have to commit themselves to the push. As they move in, we do have Nothing sitting very, very close over here to the forklift area. And he's going to try to find some kills up close and personal before they even get themselves into this bomb site. Falling back a bit. Not going to spot anything yet, but the smokes are fading. It's re-smoked by the T's, and he's ready to pop flash over. This could wreak some havoc in itself. It connects onto the player on top of forklift. Hayes has found the first kill, but Nothing responds. Now looking for more tags. One of them gets him out in the open. JDM's going to be able to shut down Nothing. 4 on 3 at this point. And the CTs are going to have to rotate over from the alternate site.
The salvaged weapons, 2 AK-47s. There's an AWP somewhere in there on Stewie. Has been picked up. Anyway, Skadoodle just holding for the retreat. That Molotov is going to force them not into his crosshair. He goes the other way. 2 over towards quad. 1 at forklift and 1 at A main. This is going to be a very, very difficult retake for Cloud9. Good positioning from CLG as C9 storms in. There's JDM with the Tech 9 and Cutler as well. They buy themselves that lifeline, 16-17. They grab a round in the first half of OT.
Still going to be very, very dangerous, though, however, to C9. They repeat the same scoreline going into the next half of OT. They'll still have the match in control. The magic number is going to be 19. And they're still so close to closing it out. But now they have to go back over onto that T side where they struggled so much here in the first half just to get the ball rolling. Finally managed to recover later on in the half, putting up at least 5 rounds on the board in regulation. But overall here, it was definitely CLG's time to play on their CT side, and now going back to that, if we see anywhere near the strength we had before, this could be their own chance to get back into the game.
I mean, this has been a grueling match for both teams. It's a story of just barelys, where C9 barely makes this comeback. CLG barely holds on at the end of forced overtime. And now it's up to, I mean, that's Yorokanji, the coach, Slummy as well, the new in-game leader, talking over what they want to do, because that was a very rough T-side for Cloud9 earlier. If you remember, they went down 6-0. They did recover and had a couple of good wins off the back of finally breaking the economy of CLG, but overall, that defense from CLG stumped them many, many times.
I talked about it before, too, that the problem with C9 on this T-side is that it's extremely basic, very easy to get a read on. There's not a lot of variance in terms of strategies. It's all extremely straightforward, and so long as CLG are able to get the read on that early on, then it can be a very quick shutdown in the CT's favor. As long as they get that communication out and they're able to rotate fast enough, it's very easily managed. Oh, that's the wrong way. There
we go. Figured it out.
That was a bit harsh. You see what that said?
No, let's not even talk about it. Got blinders on.
Rip Summit. So we'll get back into the game here in just a moment. And again, you can see it there. C9 still just talking things out, making sure that they want to handle this T-side properly with it going so poorly. Jumping back onto it. They're going to need to get back into the swing of things. And Shroud's another big question mark here, too, on that T-side.
Yeah, that was the half that he came alive a little bit on the CT side. We talked about maybe a little bit in his comfort zone at that B bomb state where we've seen him have some very, very impactful. Hopefully that picked him up just enough for him to really get going into this T side, because he was very, very quiet in the first half of regulation. No massive crazy investments for either team in terms of, CLG not going for a double op setup, which could damage the economy. 1 op as well on a Skadoodle.
C9 holding back now, and again, it's that default that we were used to seeing so much in the first half. Putting themselves away. They're going to wait for any extra aggression to come out from CLG. And they might end up giving it to them too. Hayes inside of the vents, mainly just watching out for the mid pressure, which is another favorite spot of Stewie's. Back from the first half.
Well, and CLG looks like they want to try and punish this. They have a setup with Hayes and Vent, and they have 1 over at the box and mid, and then 1 player on highway who's playing a very big swing position. So it seems like they're very, very poised and ready to pounce on any presence in mid from Cloud9. Hasn't come out just yet. There's a Molotov at events. They're going to try and punish Hayes as he falls out. Stewie couldn't get there quick enough. Naturally, he walks through the smoke.
As how he pushes through, though, not going to be able to catch anybody from the CT side. They've all safely evacuated further back into the site, but good early control gain of this site itself from C9. Now, though, this is where they got stuck so many times previously, and they're going to give this up, actually. Boosting themselves back over, and they're going to go for mid-control.
That was actually really sick. There was a moment there where Cloud9 actually forced the rotation. There's still 3 members for CLG over at the B site. They have a bad read. This A defense is so weak at the moment. It's going to be very, very scary. Here comes the hit as well.
Stewie's going to try to head them off at the pass, too. If you go back over there towards Z, they're watching for that. They're going to try to hold these guys back up. Still up on the site, though. Skadoodle and Nothing find the first 2 kills. Down to JDM, Hayes, and Tarek, and scratch that. Tarek's now down, too. The remaining 2 are split. JDM up by the truck angle right now, and Hayes still way back over. Even scared of there being a player inside his Z right now. He's still just pushing back CT spawn.
I mean, if you'll remember back to regulation, we said one of the things that was a little bit scary about Cloud9's T side is they didn't put pressure anywhere. They didn't really go for any kind of map control. This time they gain it over towards B. They get control of checkers. That forces a rotation of 2 members of CLG over towards that B bomb site. When CLG finally realized what's happening, that it's actually going to be a hit on the A bomb site, 2 players just get stuck together in that site, and it's an easy wipeout for Cloud9. A couple kills here at the end for CLG are pretty nice, but not much they can do, and Cloud9 does end up taking every weapon away.
So we'll go on to, once again, guys, match point here now in the favor of C9 this time, however. 1 more away, and they'll take control of map number 1 here, and they'll be 1 map away from pushing themselves out of the groups here at DreamHack Austin, as well as eliminating their opponent here in North America, CLG. If CLG can bounce back, stealing that home map would be a great success for them, but also going to have to go through OT number 2 if they want to accomplish that.
Hayes close up towards mid, right behind the smoke. He's blind again, though. He's got to push into it, and he does. He confuses Slemmy, gets the kill. Cutler as well, 1 more. Giving himself a chance here, but Tarek caught in the open. No cover him to hide behind, and Tarek's the only one at that B bomb site. So this is open now. It's going to be a 3-on-4, but Cloud9 plenty of time to get the bomb planted safely and find some new positions. They've got 3 Molotovs as well to hold things off a little bit longer.
Nothing. Waiting as well now for Fug to rotate back in through those vents, but it's going to be a heavy push coming in from the CT direction here. Nade's going to explode on the site, not really connecting all that much damage. Skadoodle and Nothing down a little bit lower, but this Molly is perfectly timed. It does hold them back from the vents there as well. More time wasting away. C9 taking closer and closer to taking control of their home map here. Shroud Zone Nade. Skadoodle's going to find the first kill here, trying to hold back more. Skadoodle and Nothing finding 2 more, and Shroud goes down. So there you have it, guys. C9 take control of map number 1 here on Cash, and they'll gain the advantage in this set.
A ridiculous comeback for Cloud9. It took them so long to finish that out. That is incredible stuff. And it's off the unlikely players. It's guys like Slemmy who stepped up in the end. I mean, that was a beautiful performance from him. Stewie had that dominant off. We talked about Skadoodle sometimes not wanting to take over matches. It was Stewie who was highly aggressive with it. And Skadoodle playing a little bit more passively was equally efficient. So that was really, really good stuff once they got into the game.
This has been an area that Stewie's actually been working on quite a bit. We've seen this sort of as a consistent staple for the CT side now in the new C9, posting himself up just outside of A main, playing that aggressive angle, and when the pressure comes in, falling back to quad, playing from that angle. Works out great. He absolutely shut down most of the offensive plays from CLG, and a great effort from him will allow C9 to bounce that huge comeback and take control of map number 1.
Yeah, and it was an eroding victory. I mean, you could just see, CLG did their best to withstand that storm, that pressure that was exerted in the second half and then into overtime, and they just couldn't ever close it out. One of the struggles they've had recently as a team, not being able to close down that map. And that's a tough first map to lose in this series.
That is indeed going to close out the first map, ladies and gentlemen, so stick around, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with map number 2 here, once again between Cloud9 and CLG.